Glimpses of World History by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Preface to the original edition. I do not know when or where these letters will be published, or whether they will be published at all, for India is a strange land today, and it is difficult to prophesy. But I am writing these lines while I have the chance to do so, before events forestall me. An apology and an explanation are needed for this historical series of letters. Those readers who take the trouble to go through them will perhaps find the apology and the explanation. In particular, I would refer the reader to the last letter, and perhaps it would be as well in this topsy turvy world to begin at the end. The letters have grown. There was little of planning about them, and I never thought that they would grow to these dimensions. Nearly 6 years ago, when my daughter was 10 years old, I wrote a number of letters to her containing a brief and simple account of the early days of the world. These early letters were subsequently published in book form and they had a generous reception. The idea of continuing them hovered in my mind, but a busy life full of political activity prevented it from taking shape. Prison gave me the chance I needed, and I seized it. Prison life has its advantages. It brings both leisure and a measure of detachment. But the disadvantages are obvious. There are no libraries or reference books at the command of the prisoner, and under these conditions, to write on any subject, and especially history, is a foolhardy undertaking. A number of books came to me, but they could not be kept. They came and went. 12 years ago, however, when, in common with large number of my own countrymen and countrywomen, I started my pilgrimages to prison, I developed the habit of making notes of the books I read. My notebooks grew in number and they came to my rescue when I started writing. Other books, of course, helped me greatly, among them, inevitably, H.G. Wells' Outline of History. But the lack of good reference books was very real, and because of this, the narrative had often to be slurred over or particular periods skipped. The letters are personal, and there are many intimate touches in them which were meant for my daughter alone. I do not know what to do about them, for it is not easy to take them out without considerable effort. I am therefore leaving them untouched. Physical inactivity leads to introspection and varying moods. I am afraid these changing moods are very apparent in the course of these letters, and the method of treatment is not the objective one of a historian. I do not claim to be a historian. There is an unfortunate mixture of elementary writing for the young and a discussion at times of the ideas of grown ups. There are numerous repetitions. Indeed, of the faults that these letters contain, there is no end. They are superficial sketches joined together by a thin thread. I have borrowed my facts and ideas from odd books, and many errors may have crept in. It was my intention to have these letters revised by a competent historian, but during my brief period out of prison, I have not had the time to make any such arrangement. In the course of these letters, I have often expressed my opinions rather aggressively. I hold to those opinions, but even as I was writing the letters, my outlook on history changed gradually. Today, if I had to rewrite them, I would write differently or with a different emphasis. But I cannot tear up what I have written and start afresh. 1st January 1934, Jawaharlal Nehru.